Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ben Zaleski, and I'm currently one of your Michigan Grown, Michigan Great ambassadors for this year. Today, I am just south of Port Austin, Michigan, which is in the tip of the thumb with Jeremy Polega, and we're going to hang out with him while they harvest sugar beets for a little bit, and he's going to talk a little bit about his farm as well as the process that goes into growing and harvesting sugar beets. If you have any questions during this, feel free to comment it down in the chat. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy Polega, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, Ben. Like you said, I'm Jeremy Polega from Port Austin. I farm, cash crop farm up here, soybeans, dry beans, wheat, sugar beets. He's riding along today. We're getting close to the end of sugar beet harvest, so he asked about a week ago if he could come out and do this, and the weather didn't cooperate, so we were lucky enough to have some beets left, and he's out today.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. So do you want to explain a little bit about what we're doing today out here in the field?
Yeah, we're harvesting sugar beets. Right now I'm running a chain cart and I'm under the harvester loading. I don't know if Ben can turn the phone and show the harvester and the cart. We have kind of a different sugar beet harvest situation than most. We actually have a group of 3 farmers that work together. Myself, Jason Clancy, and FRB Farms, which consists of Fred and Rob Baranski and their hired man Tom Fisher. And we pool our resources together so we can get the sugar beets harvested efficiently and timely.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. So when it comes to planting sugar beets and everything, how does your year plan out, and when do you start planting and what goes into everything?
Well, sugar beets typically are the first crop that we plant. We try to get on the field as quickly as we can, so they're in the ground growing as long as they can, so we can get the most tons and the most sugar out of them. We typically, us being as far north as we are, like you said, Ben, we're a couple miles from the lake, so we're colder longer than if you get in, say, Baddock, Sebring, Reese area. So we try to be in the field around the 20th of April if we can on a typical year, but most of the time it's usually the last week of April. Well, this year was an exception. We actually got our beets in around the 10th or 11th of April. I mean, we had an exceptional spring. Everything just clicked.
All right, good to hear. So what does it look like throughout the summer, just managing the sugar beets and making sure everything goes good for harvest?
Well, once we get them planted, and get them up, obviously, we have to worry about wind blowing them off. Sometimes if we plant them early, we worry about them freezing off. We utilize cover crops. Sometimes we'll spread oats or rye and plant right into that. And then we'll come back and kill that off later to help get the beets out of the ground and going. And then once they get out of the ground and going, we've got to spray herbicides on them, and pesticides and fungicides. Fungicides are probably the most time-consuming and the most important part of the beets, because we got to keep them disease-free so the leaves are healthy and they can have a lot of sugar in the leaves for the fall to put it down in the beet.
Would you say spraying is probably one of the more difficult things when it comes to sugar beets?
It's not difficult. It's repetitive, and you got to be on time. Like for example, this year we started our leaf spot spray on a Friday. So basically, we sprayed every other Friday from about July till the middle of September.
So now we're here harvesting them. Where will your sugar beets go once everything's harvested?
Our sugar beets will end up, actually we're hauling them to the meat piling ground for the Michigan Sugar Company. And from there they'll get transferred to one of the factories, either Bay City, Carroll, Croswell, or Sebring. And then they get processed into pure white Michigan sugar. So the Michigan sugar bags you see at the store, that's our beets that are out in the field right now getting made into that sugar.
Thanks for that. So do you want to talk a little bit about your farm and how you got started in farming? Did you grow up on a farm, or is this new to you?
Yeah, my grandma always told me that my first steps were towards the machine shed when I was a baby, but I don't remember that, but I always worked with my uncles and my grandpa on their farms, and I still work with my Uncle Dan today. But he doesn't grow sugar beets, so right now he's doing some fall tillage and cleaning equipment up at his place. But yeah, I've been involved in some sort of production agriculture for basically my whole life. I mean, I started out picking stones, doing things like that, odd jobs, just basically worked my way up. And then I was about 20 years old, I rented some land, and that's how I got going. When I got out of school at Michigan State.
So do you think just attending college was a great experience and it helps you better manage your farm?
Oh yeah, I think it helps you better manage it. You get out of your element and into a different one. I mean, the people that I met and the friends I made at college, I mean, there's a bunch of them that live in Huron County that I never knew when I was in high school. I mean, and I talk to them on a daily basis. And then I've got friends all over the state that I still communicate with that I met when I was down at Michigan State.
All right, I'm gonna switch the camera over to show you a little bit of his field and the sugar beets that are being harvested today, as well as the machine back here.
Yeah, Jason in the harvester.
And with seeing this, how many acres do you guys grow of sugar beets each year?
Our group grows about 700.
700 acres.
I have between 150 and 200 on a year, depending on my crop rotation.
All right, and how does that compare to the other crops you guys grow?
Like myself, I grow a lot more dry edible beans and soft white wheat.
All right.
Those would be, I guess, my main two crops, I would say.
All right. And what does, I guess, like what you would consider the off season look like, even though it's not really an off season?
Well, in the wintertime, I mean, we're working on equipment. We're going to meetings. We have to keep up, like with our pesticide license certification. So there's different meetings throughout the state that we attend. We're doing a lot of book work, year-end book work. Taxes, planning for next year. Things like that. I mean, I don't know. It's an off season, but it really isn't, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of work to be done.
Right.
So you're also the president of Huron County's Farm Bureau.
Yes, I am.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how you got your role in there?
Yeah. It was probably 15 years ago. John Streeter was the young farmer chair for the county, and he said, "Hey, we're having this young farmer conference," and it was, I think, in Traverse City that year. He said, "You're going to it." I said, "Okay." And then after that, I got involved. I was a membership chairman and started attending some meetings. I was the young farmer chair for a few years, and then I got elected to a regular board seat, and I've been the president. I think this will be my third year.
All right. So being a part of like Farm Bureau and being involved in that, is there like, what would you say to young people going into agriculture about like becoming involved in Farm Bureau?
Well, I would say it's a very good organization to get involved with. I mean, it's a grassroots organization. I mean, they do an exceptional job at telling our story. That's the biggest thing. I mean, there's people out there that are generations removed from the farm. They don't know where their food comes from. I mean, and there's things that Farm Bureau does, activities they do to promote that. I mean, like in our county, we're not having it this year because of the COVID, but they have this thing called Project Red, where they bring all of, I think it's the third grade, from every school in the county to the fairgrounds, and they spend the day learning about ag. So I mean, there's just, like I said, the sky's the limit.
Yes, it for sure is. So we're currently going down the rows, and he is carrying the beets that they're harvesting, and from there they're gonna travel down to Seaweed, Michigan, where Michigan Sugar factory is, and will be created into the sugar that you find in your shelves today. A lot of people don't actually know that Michigan sugar that you find on the shelves in grocery store is Sugarbeet sugar, and a lot of it isn't cane sugar if it comes from Michigan.
Right. Anything with the Michigan sugar label on it is from our beans from right here in Michigan. And there's other labels that they package for. I mean, if you go to I think if you go to the Michigan Sugar website, you can see all the companies they package for.
Yes. So yeah, great work being done here today, harvesting Sugarbeets. Is there anything you'd like to add about just how you enjoy farming and talk a little bit about that?
Well, to be a farmer, you gotta love what you do to be a farmer. It's kind of the process of planting something in the spring, watching it grow all year, and then now here we're at the end, we're harvesting. You know, we're reaping our benefits from the whole year of hard work.
Yes.
And you gotta, like I said, you gotta be into it. It's one of those things that it's not like a job where if you wanted to be a teacher and you didn't like it, you were gonna change jobs, you know, midstream. You gotta be in it for the long haul.
So now is what we have full behind us?
Yep, the chain cart's full. We're heading to a truck.
All right.
We'll go up there. Trucks are getting back. Not too bad today. We got 2 sitting. I think we've got 8 trucks on today. We're hauling to Mead, which is about 7 miles.
Okay. So yeah, once we get up to the truck, I'll show you guys the unloading of it into the truck, and we'll just keep going along with this. So here is a look of his field to the left of all the sugar beets that are grown, and that will be harvested throughout the day. How many more days do you think you'll be harvesting for?
If everything goes good, we should have it wrapped up by Friday sometime.
Right.
I guess we should talk about the harvest and process maybe.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, let's go into that.
Okay. Like if you look here, there's beets that are green, and then there's beets that are defoliated. And there's a machine that goes through and takes the tops off the beets, so we can come through and lift them. And the harvester that we're using, we use a pull type. And there's some guys that use self-propelleds that top the beets and lift the beets all in one pass. And we just never got one yet, I guess. And then we come through and we put them. We use chain carts. So then when we load them on the trucks, it cleans them up, cleans the dirt off them, and gets any foreign material, or gets as much foreign material off them as we can when they go to the factory. Because the trucks bring back what's called tear, and that would be like small beets, chips, tops, little stones, things like that might get in the load that could get into the pile of beets and cause a problem when they get in the factory.
So right now we're pulling up the truck to unload the beets so they can head off to the plant for the day. When did you guys start harvesting for beets this year?
We started a week ago today. No, a week ago Monday, sorry.
Week ago Monday?
Yep.
Yes. Harvesting beets is usually a long process, isn't it?
10 days we usually figured, 10 to 14 days. Because there's usually a shutdown in there for weather, because if it gets too warm, they don't want you to dig because the beets won't keep in the pile.
Yes. So didn't the plant actually shut down a few days ago because it got too hot here?
Yes, on would have been last Thursday night, I believe. They were shut down Thursday night till Saturday. But we got 8 tenths of rain, so we actually didn't dig any beets until Sunday. And then Monday morning, we got a little rain shower, and we didn't do much Monday, and we got back at it yesterday.
Right. So this is the beets heading into the truck right now. As you can see, they're going from the back cart onto the truck. Do you want to explain, if you know the mechanics of how this machine works?
Yeah, the beets are loaded in there. There's a chain in the bottom of the cart, and they bring them to the front of the cart. They dump them in that little basket there, and then the chains that elevate them, they scrub, so they roll them opposite like that. And then you can see the dirt and the chips and stuff falling off as they're going up in the truck. And that's what actually does the cleanup. And then when they get to the dump, the beet dump, they get run through a piler, so they get cleaned again a little bit.
All right.
And then like the cart, we have 4 carts, and they all kind of hold in that like 32 to 35 ton range.
Okay.
And the trucks that we have, if you have a full cart, we're able to pull up to just about any truck and fill it. So we're pretty efficient that way. And it's, I don't know, it takes probably 8 or 10 minutes to get a truck in and out once they get back to the field empty and they get their tear and get dumped and get loaded and get loaded. It all depends on how fast the truck driver wants to get loaded. We've got I think 8 trucks going today, 4 carts, and top of the harvester. And we've been lucky. We've had the same crew for probably about 15 years. And I mean, it's basically three farms that come together for 10 days worth of work. And everything goes pretty smooth.
So how big is the crew that you have working with you?
For Sugarbeets?
Yes.
Like on my own farm?
Sugarbeets and your own farm.
For Sugarbeets, there would be like between 12 to 15 guys.
Okay.
And then on my own farm, I have, like I said, I farm a little bit there farm with my uncle. And then my dad, he works. And then we've got one part-time guy, Mark. And then my girlfriend's son, Landon, he helps out after school in the summer.
So, your girlfriend's son, Landon, he is still in school.
Yep.
Is it nice to see the interest in agriculture from a young age?
Yeah, I was really surprised with him not being around it his whole life, how he really took an interest and took to it. I mean, he runs a lot of equipment for being 13 years old. I mean, he'll be out here probably about a half hour. He brings a tractor loader out and pushes the tear piles around and scrapes the road after school. So.
Wow. Yes, it's nice to see a young interest in agriculture.
It is. It doesn't matter if it's production ag or if it's ag business or, you know.
So once we're unloading the beets here, will you go back around and pick up more beets from the harvester?
Yep.
All right.
I'll go out to wait my turn in line.
Yep.
Like that, I'll get loaded up again.
All right.
And I think once I fill this truck, I'll have a few beets left. I'll have to unload and do another truck.
All right. Do you know how much in weight you usually can get in one round?
Like in a cart full?
Yep, in a cart full.
A cart full is about between 35 and 38 tons.
Okay. And how many tons would you say you get per acre, if you know?
Typical, a good beet crop is 30 tons or better.
Okay.
And then the sugar, you want them like that 19% sugar, 18% sugar.
Now, do you measure the percent sugar here, or is that something that the factory does?
Nope, the factory does that. When the guys dump, they get a little ticket, and they give the guy that's on the pile there the ticket, and he puts a bag on there, and it takes a sample, and then they go to one of the labs at one of the factories, and then they test the sugar content.
All right. So, I know you don't work at the factory, but do you know how the process that the sugar beets go in order to become the sugar we get on the store, or in the store?
Well, I've never actually went out to it, but the beets get sliced.
All right.
And then they go through the factory and in a centrifuge, and they get spun. There's other steps in between. I don't want to misspeak. But, But the beet slices get spun in the centrifuge, and the sugar comes out, and then the pulp, what they call it, which would be the shredded beets, that's used for livestock feed.
Okay.
And then there's other, there's molasses, and there's other byproducts that get used.
All right.
So there's very, very little waste from a sugar beet crop.
Which is very nice to see. And if you want to learn more about just the process of how sugar is made, you can of course go to Michigan Sugar's website, and there are plenty of resources there, as well as just looking up how sugar is processed on the internet. So now his cart's about empty and the truck is full. Is there anything else you'd like to add today, Jeremy?
No, I want to say thanks for coming out. I mean, anytime a farmer can have an opportunity to share their story, with the people out there, it's a good thing.
Yes, that is correct, Jeremy. Well, a huge thanks to Jeremy Polega for letting us hang out with him today as they harvest sugar beets. And I'm glad everyone that joined was able to experience this. And of course, this video will still be available on Michigan Grown, Michigan Great's page, so you can look at it in the future. And if you want more, just shoot us some questions and message us, and we can try our best to answer them. Thank you.